Keegs Show, starring pitcher Mark Herschman and his personal catcher, Mike Keegan. Every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. live from the Governor's Comedy Club radio studio. Thanks so much for listening. Welcome to...
Here we are, Herschy and the Keegs Show, Tuesday night, May 19th. An interesting show. We were supposed to have the show originally, of course, was going to be me and my co-host, Mike Keegan. He's not here. We were going to have Ira, who is our backup producer. He's not here. So as a replacement, we have Rosie sitting in where Mike sits, usually. And we have our original producer, who's our regular producer, whose eyeball has not properly fallen out yet and seems to be doing pretty well. Tony Walker is back. So here we go. So that all happened together. Mikey Boy is off. He picked up a gig in New Jersey, which, listen, I break this guy's balls a lot, but anyone who has a full-time life like a Keegan, like a Rosie, like an Eric, people like that who work full-time gigs and then still are road warriors like Mikey, I give him a lot of credit for that. So let's give a little pop to, do you have a sound effect for that, Tony? Anything like that?
What do you want, applause?
Something like
isn't
that.
That's the sound effect?
Yeah, we got it. Okay, so our guest, our co-host, however you want to say it, is Rosie Fumara. All right, that's enough. We have Rosie Fumara, who this was kind of the idea of it is that Rosie was here 1 year ago, almost to the day. Do you remember the day?
Almost to the day.
Almost to the day. Rosie was here.
I think it was last week was a year.
And, what's interesting, and we've done this before with newer type of comics where, Rosie doesn't act like a new comic when she's on stage, but she's still a new comic. So one of the things that I'm always curious about with someone who has been in it for less than 2 years, you're now into this now, onto your second year. How do you feel, Rosie, from the perspective of 1 year since you were here? How do you feel like you've changed, evoluted from the comedy standpoint? Or have you? You have.
I feel like I have. I hope I have.
You have. You definitely have. Yeah.
Let's see. I guess I just feel more confident writing and trying things in front of audiences.
Okay.
As opposed to going to mics after mics and where I felt like I wasn't getting as much out of it. And I feel like being able to have the opportunity for the stage time to try new things is different this year.
So I had written down in my notes, Tony, that Rosie's progression has been meteoric. You think that's fair to say from the standpoint?
Yes, I certainly do.
I just think that from where she was at, where she was like doing some mics and I don't think at that point you had any spots at all at Governor's at that point.
No.
I don't think you had a spot at Governor's. You had a spot at Brokerage.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. So the fact that you're under 2 years and you have hosted where over in. I
hosted in McGuire's.
Hosted McGuire's. Okay.
And I have hosted, never at the Brokerage. I've hosted twice here.
I would say that, and again, we would have to ask other.
That's it? Only twice?
Only twice. I've had spots, but hosting.
But listen, people need to understand, if there's anyone watching who's not from this Long Island comedy community, that getting spots at Governor's Comedy Club or any of the 3 clubs is a big fucking deal.
Sure is.
It's a big deal, and
shucks.
Yeah, it is a big deal. I mean,
you.
Rosie was here. I came over to see Monty the other day. Rosie was here. It was a packed house. People need to understand that this room is one of the most special rooms on the Northeast, maybe in the world, as far as building careers and whatnot. So I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool that you were here in your element, and I just curious, are you? Is it almost surreal to you at this point that you're getting these opportunities so quickly, relatively speaking? Do you ever kind of think shit, how the fuck did this even happen to me?
There's a part of me, yes, that.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
But then there's also the dumb smart girl in me, which I think you've seen a little of. Dumb smart girl, where I have just looked at this I have no idea what to base this off of or to compare it to.
Yeah.
Because I went in and I did it as a bucket list thing.
Right.
Always something that I felt like I could possibly do. Had been told you're
funny. You're the funny girl, funny in business.
Rosie,
blah, blah, blah.
they would pimp me out. I would say Rosie, tell them the story about the girls with the big asses and the purple dresses.
Right.
The little pony at the family barbecues. But I tried it, and so I don't really have that gauge where, like, I know friends of mine that have been, say, doing this for some time, and they aren't necessarily getting those opportunities.
Right.
Would
Right.
have you understand where I'm
I
coming
totally
from?
understand where
Okay.
you're coming from.
But yes, I am very honored, and I feel like it is surreal.
Now, as far as obviously you started just like I did. I started later on in life. You started even later than I did. What was it you're at the brokerage one night and you see there's a sign up that says comedy class, stand up university, or like what was the thing that went from I'm just this funny girl who has a funny kid and a funny mom and blah 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 blah. Like what was the impetus to say, because once you sign up for that class, that's when your career starts. So tell us how that exactly happened.
Okay. So there was rumor that there was something opening up right near my job in Massapequa.
Oh, that's right. So Ange was going to open something
And
near
I
the
didn't
shop.
realize it was Governor's at all.
Okay, gotcha.
Again,
Right.
dumb girl sometimes.
Okay,
My
yeah.
brother handles that aspect.
Thank
right?
God.
So,
Brother Anthony. Shout out to the good man, Brother Anthony, my boy. Yeah.
rumor was that was going to be opening, right?
Okay.
So I said, wouldn't that be funny? Instead of me talking shit at the end of the night in the office
Right.
to make everybody kind of decompress and laugh.
Right.
What if we can go have drinks over there? And they said Mike's. I'm like, I just thought, Mike, you get up there. And,
Yeah, just fucking riff. Just riff.
So I said, oh my God, wouldn't that be fun? They're
Yeah.
like, oh, it'd be so great.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. Then it was delayed and things happened. It was delayed. And I kept saying, I was really looking forward to that. And then this woman, Jody, that I know from Long Beach, that's worked with me for like 15 years, she came in the office and she said, I know somebody that took a class at the brokerage. And I went online, I looked it up, and I saw that it was Tuesdays. And I'm like, oh, we're closed Tuesdays. Perfect.
Wait, the shop is closed or just Tuesday nights, you mean?
My location, where I'm based out of usually, even more so then,
Right.
was Tuesday. Was
Done.
closed. So I was like,
A wrap.
Tuesdays are like a free day.
Free day,
You know?
yeah.
So I said, all right, Tuesday works.
Yeah.
And it was at the time Anthony and I were living together, so he didn't play hockey that night. So
Right.
it was like, who's...
Husband Anthony, ex-husband Anthony, not Brother Anthony. Go ahead.
Yes,
Yeah.
lots
Okay.
of Anthonys.
Yeah.
And I called, and Rich Walker answered.
So okay.
And, well, he didn't answer. He called me back. I
Yeah.
left a message or whatever.
Well,
and
he was at the bagel place brushing his teeth. That's what he was doing. Yeah. So that's what he was doing. Yeah.
so after he finished brushing his teeth,
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Have you ever been on the phone, either one of you, with Walker, and then he's like, hold on a second, can I get a Bialy with a schmear of cream cheese and a side of pickles? And I'm like, all right, Rich, we got it. It's okay. Has that ever happened to you? Because if it hasn't, you haven't lived in this business
I have
just
not
yet.
lived
All
that,
right.
I suppose.
All right. So you speak to Rich Walker.
And he said, oh, why don't you come down and see a class?
Okay.
I said, okay.
Yeah.
So I came in. I was very nervous just to even see what was going on. But
Yeah.
I was curious. I went. They had started about, 20 minutes before.
Okay.
I think the second guy was on stage, and it was the class they teach, the last one before you then have the show the following week.
So that's always the best class, because you're seeing their sets. You're seeing there's a little tension between Walker and Bales because they're getting a little frustrated that people aren't listening to them. Then they're going ahead and they're punching up. That's kind of what you saw?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
okay.
I saw it was, I think, all men.
Okay.
Except one woman. And
Anyone that sticks out in your mind that you remember that you've followed since then, or nobody that's been around?
Yes. In that class
Yeah.
was Danny Calabrese.
Okay.
Who is one of my closest friends.
Absolutely.
And comedy buddy.
Doing great.
And Danny was taking that class for the first time.
Okay, gotcha.
I then wound up taking it with him the second time.
Okay, gotcha.
And so I do remember him from that. And then there was another guy that was in the class that I remembered just because he was off the wall. And he was like crawling on the floor and he's imitating his mother,
Gotcha.
like smoking when they were kids in the house. And I was
Okay.
like, oh my God. And then he got up and he was like super tiny, but like super cute.
Yeah.
He just stuck out.
Okay.
And I remember.
Sounds like me. She described. Like I didn't take that class. Okay.
Other than that, I can't think of one other
Okay.
person.
All right. So the Danny Calabrese thing, because I know Danny's a buddy of yours, and Danny's also out there busting his ass and hustling. Was it like you met him in the class and like, I'm going to take a class with Danny Calabrese,
No.
or you just signed up and then that you became buddies in the class?
We became buddies in the class when I
Okay.
signed up. When I sat there next to that water pitcher that they put
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Yeah.
And the last time I was in there with them,
Yeah.
Rich couldn't find the cups, and they were in the water.
Oh,
He put them in
okay.
the water, and he was
Yeah.
walking around looking for the
Yeah.
cups, and he's like, "Oh my God, they're inside."
Tony, for reference, if you've never had a cup of murky water that hasn't been cleaned out, the pitcher hasn't been cleaned out since.
It's like it's from like the brokerage bathroom. He's
Yeah,
like,
it's disgusting.
I've seen it.
It's
I'm like,
disgusting.
that's why I always bring this. When
Let's
I go.
put
I'm
it this
like, no
way. The first person to drink out of that was Chris Monty in 1989 when he took the class at Stanford University. So a murky pitcher that's covered in filth, and that was when you.
I sat down there with another she was very young black girl, maybe like 17, 18.
Okay.
And she had this, it was very cold,
Mm-hmm.
I remember. And she had a blue, like matching, almost like snowsuit, like she was in A Christmas Story. And I
Yeah.
was just fascinated by her, really.
Yeah.
But she had no personality, none. Like she didn't even speak.
Yeah.
She was just like so timid.
Perfect for comedy.
And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, that's the only one I know that's going to be in the next class with
Yeah,
me.
okay.
She never showed up. But yeah, I met Danny, and Danny and I really didn't talk much in the beginning.
Okay.
It was when on class 3, I left with tears pouring down my face
Mm-hmm.
saying, I don't think you're going to see me again.
You
True
you
Rosie
thought that,
dramatic
or you
fashion.
said that?
I said that. I don't
Wow.
think you'll ever see me again.
Wow.
And then Bales came over to me and was like,
Yeah.
I don't think that's something, come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. The encouraging
No, he's all, but he was
hand
like,
of the-
you know how he's like kind of stiff and he's like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be okay.
You're gonna be fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So
we've
he
all
did-
been through this.
He did that, and
Yeah.
I was walking out, and I had tears in my eyes, and Danny just grabbed me and said, I don't think you should quit. He said to me, he goes, I'm going to give you my email. I go, I have to write it down. He goes, no, you don't, because it's Danny Calabrese.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
the whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, I can remember that.
I could do that. Yeah.
He said, email me your notes. I
Right.
typed them all out. I emailed
Yeah.
him all my stuff, and then we met in Farmingdale at a diner,
Right.
and we went to an open mic. I had never seen an open mic in my
Never
life.
been to a mic.
Hosted by Brendan
Yep.
Ryan. Mm-hmm.
Excellent
And
young comic.
he was there hosting.
Right.
And I ran out without paying for my drink. Thought maybe Danny had paid for it
Right.
and or forgot.
Okay.
I told him I forgot.
Yeah.
But really, I thought he paid
Well,
for me.
that's always the move, right? I've
I
used that a few
forgot.
times in my day.
So I ran, but they chased me down the block.
Okay.
They did. But it was my first mic, and then we sat there and revised, and
Yeah.
I went in the next week, and I had changed a lot, and I told him a funny story that night, like a life story.
A real life story.
And he's like, that's a bit. And I'm like, how is it a bit? And he's like, this is how it's a bit. And he changed it from a story.
Topic, premise, punch.
To a bit.
Broke it down. There was a twist at the end, and all of a sudden you had a joke.
Yes.
You had a
and
legitimate
it was a joke
joke.
I really wanted to tell because
That's
it
right.
was a story that I thought was
Yeah.
the greatest.
So that leads me to when you as a new comic, especially in that class, they help you write jokes, and this is not a knock on them because it's the progression of a young comic or a new comic, but it does take some time to go ahead and find your voice. So I think I posted about a month ago the first joke I ever told, which was about Gary Coleman falling out of the top bunk,
Yes.
and that's why he died.
I think it's funny.
And yeah, I mean, but it's not my voice. It's not something I would ever tell now. It's all stuff about relativity. So my question for you is, have you realized the importance of relativity? And I know you have because I've seen your act, where now the stuff that's funnier is the stuff about your dad and Cole and your mother and the shop and all that stuff. Like, do you find it that you're enjoying writing about stuff that is real versus writing just little knock jokes or whatever the case may be?
Yes.
Okay.
And I like that it gives me an opportunity to have sort of like a character in the sense that
That's right.
other things, certain things I can think of that happened in the past, or
Yeah.
some of them are not real, but they usually are based on something that wound up happening. Like I'm trying to write a joke right now
Right.
about my son.
Yeah.
Because in 1 week, he wound up having an orthopedist with orthotics in his shoes and
Right.
PT
Yeah.
for his foot with
Okay.
a little limp.
Yeah.
And also high cholesterol.
Not an orthodontist. This is an orthopedic for a young boy.
Doctor with
Cholesterol.
insults and high cholesterol,
Right.
and rising triglycerides.
Wow, that's not good.
No.
So the bright
And
side is he's collecting his pension soon,
Well,
though,
that's
which is good.
That's the third maybe.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I said all of a sudden I was at work. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on with my son. I feel bad for him, but for Christ's
Yeah.
sake, I'm raising a little 85-year-old.
Right.
Instead of just throwing it to the wind,
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Instead, that's the difference. I'm like, I'll write
Right.
it down and I'll see the potential of a joke in something that I say instead of just something I forget.
Right. So that's once it doesn't happen at the beginning, but once I started to write in a way that if I was driving along and I thought of something and I laughed, and I do this all the time with the kids and Stacy, and I drive them all fucking nuts about it, but I will think of something that makes me laugh. And ultimately, if it's something that makes you laugh about something in your own life, chances are there's someone else going to relate to it.
Yes.
So the truth is, I write jokes about my kids and their teeth or whatever, and now you have a perfect thing. Now, obviously, it's not something that's funny that poor little Cole has orthotics and a cholesterol issue and, all that
No,
stuff.
but when I told somebody,
Yeah.
I went, I think that's a joke,
Yeah, it's a definite joke. Yeah.
And I was afraid to tell you that.
Yeah.
Because it's
Yeah.
my son, and it's
Yeah.
like, But listen,
Right.
he's doing great.
He's good.
We changed
Yeah.
the whole kitchen. Thankfully,
Yeah.
he's a bougie eater. He'll eat a lot of different things.
He's good.
So
It's good
we
that
just-
Tony left
we
the
just
show, by the
changed.
way. That's good. He's had enough of this whole thing.
Tony's like, I don't give a shit, Rosie.
yeah.
I see you on Fridays, and that's enough.
It's got to be. I know the feeling. The feeling of once you start to change as a writer really feels fantastic. Now, I'm curious, like. You start doing, for me, the graduation show was the mountain. I'd climbed it. I was on a high. I could not sleep for 24 hours. I remember it was only the second time in my life that I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience, where I was on stage doing my graduation set here because I had so many people that made reservations that they had to move my room here, and I was watching from the top. It also happened when Stacy gave birth to Samantha, where I felt like I was on top of the hospital room. So, that experience, never in my mind did I think it was going to lead to performing comedy on the regular. So at what point did the transition hit in your mind that I'm not just a stand-up university graduate who had a fun time and people came to see me? When did you say, like, maybe I'll do it again? Maybe I'll keep on doing this?
Well,
Was it immediate, or was there some time
no,
before?
that night, Ange came up to me
Oh.
and asked me if I would come back.
Wow.
And she thought I was funny, and she gave me her phone number.
Wow.
And I thought
oh,
that
that's
she did-
really
I thought
that's
that she
impressive.
did that
Isn't that impressive, Tony?
Tony thinks so.
Yeah.
Come
Tony,
here, give me some.
Come on, Tone.
Hey, oh.
I've never even heard of that happen before. So that's pretty crazy.
So I just figured that was the norm. So when we got back to that review,
it's so not the norm.
so the review,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, when they do like the post game wrap up after the after
and
the
you
show,
had pizza,
the
and
pizza,
you guys
the party.
talk, and yeah.
You know what it was?
Yeah.
Because I've done the class more than once.
Yeah.
There was I missed the pizza party. I was away,
Okay.
but I did a private little
You did a private pizza
Panera
party. Yeah.
with Rich Walker.
Of course you
to-
did.
To go
Yeah.
over and sat down
Yeah.
with all my jokes.
Right.
He didn't do the 10 or a 9 like Bales does.
Right.
He
right.
just kind of reviewed them with me.
Yeah.
And was at that moment
Yeah.
that, what was I saying?
Why do you keep on hitting me? Can you stop that,
So
please?
I'm a toucher. This is what the Puerto Rican and Italians do.
I'm into the touching.
You're lucky I grab your cheek.
So the 10, I don't remember the 10. I don't even think that the 10 and 9 even happened with me. They rate the jokes. Is that what it was?
Bales does the thing where he rates the
Yeah,
jokes.
yeah. I didn't have
This
Bales.
is an 8. This
Yeah.
could be a 9 if you did it
Yeah.
this way.
Yeah.
This was a 6, but it could be an 8. And I wrote all my notes the second class.
It's
when
so
you did all
funny
that.
was Bales your mentor? He was your tutor or whatever you call it?
No, that's why I met with Rich after.
Oh,
Because he was
okay,
the one that
okay.
like called me on the phone
Oh, okay.
before the
Okay,
class.
yeah.
You know, so we went over it, and I said to Rich, I go,
Yeah.
so Ange gave me her number, and I'm going to give her a call. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, what? Didn't she?
It doesn't
I go,
happen.
didn't she give everybody in the class?
It
the number?"
doesn't
And I remember
happen.
Danny was like, what?
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
I didn't. Again,
It
because
doesn't happen.
I didn't have anything to base. this
Right.
off.
For all you know, every person gets Ange's phone number. Like, there are comics who've been in the business for 4 years that don't have Ange's phone number. So that was a big deal. That's pretty crazy. So right from the beginning, Bale saw it, Walker saw it, and saw it. And that's what people want. Like, I remember when I took the class, and it must have been like 2 or 3 weeks in, I had asked Rich Walker if he would go to if he wanted to go to lunch with me, and he said, I don't usually get close with people in the class, which is just his way of saying, like, I don't want to be friends with this guy, you know. And then obviously the story goes that me and Walker became very close, and it must have been like 5 or 6 weeks into the class, and me and Walker were texting at like 2 a.m. about my set, and he said, just call me. And he couldn't breathe. Something I had written that it was laughing so hard. Oh, I think it was the fact that I was downstairs hiding in the kitchen, and I went to go get some angel food cake out of the Entenmann's thing, and the knife hit the plastic, and it made it hit like that little clear glass thing on the top, and it made such a loud noise that it woke up the neighborhood, and he was fucking crying laughing. And then of course from there we became good friends and so forth. But the opportunity for me, it was different people back then. It was Mark Lund and Ginny had taken a liking to my comedy, and she gave me opportunity. So the fact that it was Ange for you was a super big deal. And it's cool as fuck to me. I'm curious, like, so you go from this domesticated person, Cole, your mom, a major business that you run. How difficult was it for you to transition to add in comedy? Because it's not like a little thing. Like, it's a big fucking part of your life, especially if you do it pretty consistently. So how hard was it for you to go ahead and make that transition from domesticated life, business owner, so forth, and adding in this other element of comedy that could be as many as 10 hours a week or longer in some cases? How was that transition for you?
It was tough at first, and I realized there were certain things I had to get rid of.
Okay.
So I don't watch any TV.
Interesting. So you knew from the jump that you had to make sacrifices in order to do this, and you claimed you were going to do it. You stuck to it.
Yeah, no, and it's just really out of necessity. Like, I don't have any time. Like, if I'm going to have time where I'd rather be doing something related to this. Save it for this particular day.
Yeah.
And then I spend those times that I would be home watching TV. I'll do something with Cole, or we'll watch his show. Or
Absolutely.
Because, I'll watch a little news, and I'll watch The Middle is what he's into right now.
The Middle. He loves The Middle.
He loves The Middle.
Loves The Middle.
There's 9 seasons. It's gotten me into loving them now, too.
You love The Middle.
I do.
So speaking of Cole, you were here with him at the club a couple of months ago. I got a chance to meet him briefly, and certainly. The first thing that I noticed was how much that he loved his mama. Like, and for me, and I don't want to start crying, but as a mama's boy, I was a mama's boy. I'd go everywhere with my mom. I would go to the laundromat with my mom. I go everywhere. And you could just tell that he was very, very attached to you, not in an unhealthy way, in a normal way, but you can also tell that he's into this. He's into the idea that I don't know exactly what mom's doing here, but it's something that she's enjoying, and I kind of get a kick out of it. And I can definitely tell as he gets older, he's 11 and a half now?
Yeah.
As he gets older, he's going to really, really get this, which I think is cool as fuck, because we can't always share what we love with our loved ones because they might not always like it. But he's into it. Like, he was here that day with his guitar, and he was making some jokes about grandma and and waking up in the morning, and just like, we won't talk about it obviously, but I just thought it was nifty. How do you feel that you're making him, like, he's proud of mama that she's doing this? Do you ever think about that, or you don't?
I have asked him, not if he's proud of me, but like, what do you think of it? How do you
think of it?
feel? And
Yeah.
he'll say, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, have you ever told anybody, like any of your teachers?
Yeah.
He's like, and he was in elementary school before, obviously 6, so he had one teacher consistently.
Right.
He's like, I told her. And I was like, okay, what did she say? He's like, I don't think she believed me.
Right.
I said,
That's
"All
right. Yeah.
So when I did meet her, she asked me, actually,
Yeah.
and I told her that I did. And she thought it was just wild.
Right.
People think it's more wild than it really is.
Well, I don't know.
Not my particular friends. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, no,
it's
but
other people
but like
that I don't know.
Listen, I get that all the time. I'll never forget one of my first shows. I was performing at Governor's pretty early on in the game, and I was here, and you get out on stage. You know the deal. When you're in the Governor's room, the lights are on you, but you really can't see too far out. And I get on stage, and I pull the mic out of the stand, and all I hear is, "I know him," and it was one of Anna's school teachers, and like it was like almost like a Tourette's thing. Like, she couldn't actually hold in the fact. Like, she could have said after the show, like, "Hey, Anna's dad, I'm Mrs. Crabtree."
No, but it's so wild that you have to exclaim.
Yeah. It was. She just belted it out. I thought it was the funniest fucking thing.
Funny.
It threw me off a little bit because I was so new at the time. But yeah, I think that people who don't know and they hear that someone like Cole's mom is doing it, like, really? Like, I thought he was bullshitting me, that kid.
Yeah.
But it's legit. How much of your stuff comes from Cole? And I know that, I'm sure you're going to tell me that you see a lot of your late dad Anthony also in Cole. How much of what you do is drawn from all of that, from Maria Mama, from Brother Ant, from Dad? Like, as you're kind of moving along, are you finding that stuff, it feels better to write about stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not, and listen, I have friends that write stories that are completely fabricated.
Right.
And some of them are really funny.
Really funny.
They are.
Yeah.
I just feel for me, it's very difficult to write when it's so fantastical. I prefer to have it more realistic. Now, like,
It's
I have
easier.
a joke that I'm dating a very young guy.
Yeah.
And it's not true.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's relatable because
Absolutely relatable.
there's things that I've seen out there that
Yeah.
you can kind of put that little thing.
Right, you can go up there saying, "I'm a cougar. I'm dating a 28-year-old guy," and they're definitely, the key is for me always, if I see people in the audience just simply nodding their head, they don't have to be laughing,
Exactly.
but if they're nodding their head, it means that they're relating to
Yes.
it. And I've told
They're
the story.
with you still.
They're with you. They're with you. Like, I tell the story all the time that this is 10 years ago. Anna was a little kid. I went to give her a kiss goodbye before coming to the club, and I kind of caught wind of her teeth, and I'm like, what the fuck is in my mind? I'm like, are we paying an orthodontist for this shit? And I pulled into the parking lot, and it was wall-to-wall people. It was packed. The fucking club was packed. And I knew, as it used to always happen when I got here, John Truson, the booker at the time, and the one who would run the shows, he would generally put me on first. And I think that was a little tough love, but also the fact that it used to be where I'd walk into a room of Chris Monty, Joe Starr, Keith Anthony, Mick Thomas, all these monsters. So, yeah, it would be normal to put me up. And I was happy about it because I had written the bit about Anna and her teeth, and I knew that the only way I was going to get through it is if I just said it. And I was worried because I never even said the bit, and it's probably one of the best moments I've ever had on stage in my life. That it was the first time I ever saw like people like banging the table, like they were fucking dying, and I'm like, it woke up in my mind. I'm like, I just have to write about things that people are going to relate to. So things about, you have a bit that you do about Cole and his lunch and the mint jelly, like that shit. If people can relate to that, they're going to laugh. And that's what the growth, sometimes you'll hear like, you just need a little bit more time. And that's a little frustrating for a new comic because you want to be from here to there, and it just doesn't always work that way. You have to go ahead and just let this play out.
Yeah.
Your voice, you're finding your voice, and you're going to continue to find your voice. I think you have a little bit of an advantage because you have so many different facets of your life that you live with your mom, you live with your son, you're split with your husband, you come from a place where your dad, like mine, was a Brooklyn guy and a funny guy, and he used to say funny things like, not to bring this down, but like, do you ever feel like, fuck, I just wish you could have seen this?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
what do you think that?
Well, one of the standout moments for me that night was when Christina, who's like a sister to me, a partner, and has been through so much this year, she was at the show with her husband and some friends, and Guy's very funny, her husband.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like an entertainer.
Shout
himself.
out to Christina DeMarco
Yes,
and her husband Guy.
DeMarco.
And
Guy's, I mean, he's over the top.
Yeah.
And we always kid around that Maniscalco stole his act. He
Right.
looks like him. He's physical like
He's
that.
like a Gindaloon.
He's got the
He's like-
mannerisms.
Yeah.
He like one time I was fighting with my father at the table at the house because we're like family. My
Yeah.
father and I have this argument
Right.
at the table at a holiday.
Yeah.
And Guy was like, they didn't know what to do.
Right.
So you know what Guy did? He
Yeah.
went in the kitchen, and it was like the door was here, the dining room table's here. So there's just the door, and we're all long.
Yeah. Flopped his
took
penis right out.
pants off,
Oh. Yeah.
And he had his tighty whities on.
Yeah.
And he did a commercial for underwear.
Perfect.
Just started doing a commercial.
Big Italian bulge just
And
right out
we-
there. Yeah.
All of us.
Yeah.
In the middle of like this family feud.
Yeah.
We all were dying laughing.
Dying laughing.
So Guy is really very much
Guy.
a character.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, thinking about the people that were coming, right? And
Yeah.
how they might feel. And I
Yeah.
knew like my family and like closest friends, they'd be like, oh, that's great anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they're just, it takes balls to get up there. I say that to everybody. Even when people are like totally awful, it takes
Fucking-
balls to get up there. So kudos.
Yeah.
It really does.
Not only that, but for people who go up there and eat a bag of dicks, let me tell you something. Those people, I give them props all the time because, the biggest fear that we have on stage is silence. And for people to go up there and repeatedly have that happen, and maybe it's just more of a beginning thing, but some people just they just don't do well at it. But to keep on going up there and fighting the fight is fucking amazing. Absolutely. So, okay, go back to what you were saying. I'm
I
sorry.
don't remember anymore.
Yeah. So it was
so
Guy
many
and
things.
his big Italian hammer.
Yeah, so
yeah.
he did the hammer dance.
Yeah.
Go
yeah.
hammer, MC Hammer with the
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. But that's just his personality. So
Yeah.
now they're there.
Yeah.
And they were sitting at the brokerage, like just up that little level right there.
Yeah, the little second tier, little
right
upper step.
center.
Boom.
Right there in the middle in the back.
Right
and
there.
I knew they were there and she was so excited.
Yeah.
And at the end, she grabbed me. And a lot of people had, some people brought me flowers. It was so nice.
Yeah.
It was like you said, I didn't sleep.
Yeah.
I was on a high. It was like the weirdest, craziest, like levitation thing in the whole world of like, holy shit. that was amazing.
Not describable unless you've done
It's like
it.
a drug that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
so
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're just
It takes you over and you don't know what to do with it. Yeah.
yeah, like I very rarely have amazed myself in my life.
Yeah.
I really haven't.
Yeah.
I have a very my grades were good, but they weren't that
Right,
good.
right.
You know,
you didn't blow yourself away.
No, I was
this
never
did it,
top
though.
of the class.
Yeah,
I was never.
yeah.
I was always in the mix and
Right.
always held my
Yeah.
own, but never
Just
felt really
good old
good.
regular Rosie. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And that made me feel really like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. When I came out, my car, I used to have a big Ford Expedition, big white Expedition, and a couple of my buddies, I don't even know to this day exactly who it was, but they didn't toilet paper my car, they posted in my car. So my car I still have a picture of it. The whole truck was covered in Post-its. It must have taken like 10 things of Post-its. My whole truck was posted, like the whole thing, which was, like.
Did they write on it or just
No, just Post-its. Just yellow, pink, green Post-its, the Expedition at that point was a fucking monstrous truck. And, Tony's back. It was nice to have come. Ira, how's everything? Good? But yeah, absolutely. That high. I was fortunate enough that, the show happens and the one thing I do is I tell my pop, just don't sit like too close because it's going to make me a little bit nervous. And then I'm in the green room over here and I come out on stage and my dad, may he rest in peace, is sitting right below the stage. He's right there. So, but for some
close as
reason,
can be.
as close as can be, but for some reason, it was a cathartic feeling for me, which was weird because I didn't want him there. But then the fact that I knew that my mom and dad were there made it better, which was crazy. I just, for me, like, I know you tell me that a lot of your sense of humor comes from your dad. And I'm sure that it's one of the things in your mind that you're like, fuck, I just wish he could have seen this. But I'm sure.
More than the humor, my dad was very, very proud of me.
Yeah.
I was his little girl.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
He was, that he held, my baby, my
Yeah.
girl, like you are with your girls.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
I
so.
love regular Rosie, my little girl. Yeah.
A regular Rosie. I'm going to do like.
Yeah.
I have a thing really Rosie, but this is regular Rosie.
Yeah.
So I feel like for me, it was more of he always told me, you missed your calling. You missed
Yeah.
your calling. You missed your calling.
Wait, hold on. We got a little comment there from an Acevedo. Rosie was never regular. She was always extraordinary. Who is Acevedo? Do you know who that
That's
is?
my mom's sister.
Oh, Auntie.
She's coming to the show.
Oh, good.
You're gonna see him perform. We're
Yeah,
performing
and
together.
you're going to see her perform, more importantly.
She's come once.
That's awesome.
But
That's
I think
so cool.
I think this is going to be a much better set, and
What-
the energy is going to be
Which
much
aunt
better.
is this? I can't see the first name.
Nilda.
Nilda.
Say Nilda.
Nilda Acevedo. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, we can't wait to see you, Aunt Nilda, on Thursday, and we'll talk more about the show in a little bit. What I also wanted to touch on, I have
Wait, I have two things I have to follow up on with that.
follow, please
Okay.
do it.
So it was more that I felt because he was the one that always told me.
Yeah.
That was where I felt the absence. So I knew that going in. I
Yeah.
also asked my mother to not come to the first show ever.
You did.
I did.
Did she?
First, I needed someone to stay with Cole.
Okay.
Number one.
Well, that's practical.
Yes, but also there were things about her, and I
Yeah.
think in my gut, I felt like I would do better without her there
Interesting.
because you felt that
Yeah.
father right in front of the stage is like cathartic.
Yeah.
To me, it would have been It would have, and not because I love, like, she's coming to the show. She's
Yeah,
been to a few,
right.
and she really loves it.
Yeah.
But
it's such a mental mind fuck.
yes, it was just that she's going to be there, and it was just gonna
too much.
It was
too
just,
much for the
that
first
was
time.
Too much.
Too much.
Like Anthony's brother and sister-in-law who live in Charlotte happened to be up because we were going away.
Outrageous.
They were there.
Outrageous.
And it was just that. But with Guy and Chris being in the audience,
yeah.
they, like, there's certain people that knew my father very, very well.
Right. No, you told me that
Very, very well. Chris-
when your father passed, she was in worse shape than you were.
She was.
Yeah.
She absolutely was.
Yeah.
I had
What
to,
a
like,
blessing.
You know,
Yeah.
she loved him like a father, a mentor, a boss like me.
What
But she didn't. She had the shit end of the stick in that department, so she appreciated it even
Right.
more because she
Right.
knew what it felt like to have the
How
opposite.
fucking neat was that?
So when they grabbed me, she just went like, "Can I touch you again?"
Yeah.
Or is that okay?
Well, just don't hit, but okay. Yeah.
She
So
was like, "Rosalind, that was so great," and I was like, "Really?" And
Yeah.
then she and Guy, she's like, "Guy was cracking up," and I'm thinking, "Guy was cracking up." Like,
Yeah.
to me, that was like a bar.
right. Guy's the funny man.
And then
yeah.
she said with tears in her eyes, "Your dad would be so proud."
Oh, see, that's the shit right there, Tony.
Yeah.
That's the shit right there. That's the shit that your dad is so proud. So you have to think, I don't know, like I've told Tony this before over the years, that like what I've lost over the years in religion, I've gained in spirit and faith and karma and stuff like that. And you have to believe that whatever you do on stage every single time, that somehow he's channeling through you. Somehow the Brooklyn Tony, that funny, that like cold as a witch's tit type of thing that my father would say, or that, she's as useless as a bull with tits. Or
is the meat
like,
around the pig's ass pork?
yeah, like that's that's an old
favorite.
Brooklyn thing. My father was born in 38. I think your father was born in 41. Was it? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You do your homework. You
Yeah. Well,
remember shit.
I don't ever forget shit. You said it once on the show. I remembered. So the point is, like, I tell people all the time this, and the people who are lucky enough and blessed enough to know my dad know that he was far, far funnier than I am. He was the funniest. Like, my friends would be like, "Where's your dad? Like, I want to talk to your dad." They would call my house and they would get mad if I answered, because my dad, if he answered, he would run them in circles. You know what I mean? So I think that, certainly not having my dad around to watch this show or to see me escalate, from a comedy standpoint, and you feel the same way, but you have to know that he's there, that when you write, he's there. I'm sure also that it gives your mother joy to see that you talk about him and the soap and all that stuff. And it's going to be, Thursday is going to be cool. And Tia Nilda is going to be there on Thursday. What other aunts are going to be there?
I'm hoping that my cousin Kathy's going to make it. She had a big loss in her family.
Right.
I think maybe she might come just to kind of,
Okay.
have a laugh.
Okay.
But I have a lot of, who's coming? And it's weird because I have nobody come to anything. They say they're going to come next show, whatever.
But they're
and
coming to
I'm
this
over
one.
it.
Yeah.
But I have said to many people, I want you to come to a show that you're not going to sit through 27 comics and you're going to hate 13 of them.
A special
off the bat.
show. Yeah.
And I want you to come to something that I'm proud to be on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, and they would say, okay.
Not that you're not proud to be on others, but
No,
this is a big one.
Really, like, for me, like something unique.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be on, trust me, every single one of them.
Yeah, of
But
course.
Just, I want them to see the quality where they'll want to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a powerhouse of a show. There's no question about it. All right, so this is all peaches and roses so far, but I'm curious to know some of the negatives, and certainly this is really more so with female comics than male. How have you dealt with? How much have you dealt with, and how have you dealt with some of the inevitable shit that comes along with being a female comic, which is fucking inbox messages from guys about wanting to, whatever the case may be, or, thinking about there's a certain way they can speak to you. And definitely there's like an underlying thing that happens to female comics that I've heard a million times before. How startling was that for you, or did you just take it in stride? Like, how have you dealt with that?
I think at first it was a little startling.
Okay.
But I've eased into the point where I just kind of feel like it is a very male-dominated situation.
Right.
I've always felt comfortable with guys. I always
Okay.
had male friends.
Yep.
Always felt like I could kind of hang with them and not get offended easily.
Right.
So that's all helped.
Yep.
And I feel like the guys that have said things that have been totally disgusting or offensive,
Right.
I don't have anything to do with them. It's not like they follow you around and do it constantly. So you just know who's who.
Yeah.
And then the guys that are like, say, you and Mike and Eric and
Yeah.
the guys that like, Danny, that I can speak freely.
Yeah.
And they can speak freely to me.
Yeah.
Where they're not being so over the top. And some of the stuff is over the top.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But it's not personal
It's not
offensiveness.
personal. It's not like
you're one of the boys. Like
where
that's how you're
I
looked at
feel
for us. You're one of
icky.
our boys.
Yeah, like I don't feel icky.
Yeah.
I feel like I can shoot shit at you guys where you're like, whoa,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
and I'm
Yeah,
okay with that too.
yeah.
Like I like kind of shock
Can't believe you
value
said that about
and-
Tony. Is always what I say. Like, yeah, yeah. So,
What
it
the
just,
hell am I on?
it's just a crazy thing because if the stuff that goes on from a comedy standpoint happen in the corporate world,
Oh, forget
like
it.
this is this type of business, show business, not just this business, but we know from some of the disgusting stuff we've heard about in as far as movie directors and casting couches and things like that. Louis C.K. and his wiener out and all this kind of stuff. Like,
But he asked.
and that's true. He did ask. Yeah, he's a gent. The thing is, like in the corporate world, it's regulated. There's an HR department. There's somewhere you can file a complaint. Here, there's almost like a stigma that if you go ahead and you chirp about something like that,
You're a pain in the ass.
so it's really a fine line where you have to protect yourself, but also make sure that you don't want to cause any sort of ruffle. Like this book, I don't want to use her. She complains all the time about this or that, or she says things that are untrue, even though they may be true. So that's just a weird anomaly about this business that it's kind of like without rules, right? It's just people going free ball, and you can do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, it's
You know?
unregulated, completely unregulated.
That's right.
And I've seen some cute young little girls come
Yeah.
in here, and
Tell us more.
they just
Yeah.
they're not here very long.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that's part of it. Because you also have to be funny.
Yeah.
But you also have to have, I feel like, some business savvy to
Right.
make it in this. Like you have to know like how to schmooze, and you have to know how to have conversations. You have to know how to get
Yeah.
to the right people and make an impression in
Oh.
front of them. Like there's a
Yeah.
like to just sit there and do mics and hope that you're gonna fucking become like
Right.
Eddie Murphy is just not okay.
Well-
it's not gonna really help most.
So
You have
that's
to work.
interesting thing, and that's why I think you just touched on something that's given you a little bit of a leg up. Is that you have you grew up in a business. Your mom and dad are entrepreneurs. They started a business in 1973, Bridal Reflections, which is fucking murdering all over Long Island right now. Now you, Christina DeMarco, and brother Ant are in charge of the business. New shop opened up in East Meadow, like totally thriving business. I think it's without any sort of question that your experience as a business owner dealing with all the bullshit that goes on a day-to-day basis from employees, from employees that go rogue, to shitty vendors, to people that customers are pieces of shit. The fact that you had to do that in real life, because let's just say that's real life and this really isn't.
No, it's
this
not.
is like a fantasy world, right?
This is my vacation
Yeah,
time from running a business and from having a household.
Right.
When I come here, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
see familiar faces that most of them I feel so happy to see.
Absolutely.
And then
Not
there's
Tony.
all the
Yeah.
except Tony.
Yeah.
But he was gone for a little while, so
Yeah.
now we're like ready.
I'm
ready
so,
for him
it's so
again.
funny. Tony's like, wow, he's so happy to see me. I saw him the other day in the green room, and he was like, oh my God, Herschy's so happy to see me.
And then I gave you a hug.
Yeah, I'm not usually like that. I'm like, but is it without question that the fact that you've dealt with the real life business shit that has enabled you to have a little bit of an extra kind of a little shot in the arm as far as your ability to
Oh my
handle
God,
your
my
stuff?
father loves that term.
Yeah.
Shot in the arm.
Shot in the arm.
We had a good day on
Yeah.
Saturday. He'd be like, we needed that. It was a shot in the arm.
Shot in the arm,
That's a
yeah.
good shot,
but
big
your
shot in the arm.
your business ownership definitely has helped you. There's no question about it, because you deal with some heavy shit and shitty customers and shit like that. So that's probably, like they used to say, like stand up you would jump you a year, or I think your life experience and being the business owner has jumped you even further than that.
I think
really
it's
do.
a tremendous help. It really
Yeah.
is because I'm able to even navigate within the club, like know, even the very hardworking staff here.
Yeah.
I know the importance of telling a staff that's in a space where there's so much chaos and so much hard work, and they bust their asses, right?
Yep. Yeah, yeah.
And they're amongst people that can have fucking big egos, and can look down on them or treat them like shit. And I'm not saying most do.
No.
But they have that element, and then they're dealing with the public themselves with food and beverage. And I heard recently somebody threw up in a cup, like I mean, there's these
I heard that story.
animals. There's animals, and they come here, they come everywhere, but they're here, and then they're drinking, and it's late.
Yeah.
And they get riled up. So I feel like it's important to recognize those people.
That's right.
I look at it from a business standpoint. When
That's
I'm
right.
in that room, I look at it like that light bulb's out.
Yeah.
They could be doing this instead.
Right.
That merch counter over there is a waste of space. If they remove that because it's not making them any money.
So, by the way, this is not just random examples. This is stuff that actually Rosie did at the club the other day, where she had them fix the light bulb that was out, and the counter didn't. The merch was old or something. I don't remember.
No, they dusted and they.
Oh, they dusted it. Okay, got ya. And that is the merch counter that we got your underpants out of once, Tony.
Yes,
That's
I know.
the merch counter for sure. Yeah.
So I look at it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I want to think that when I'm in here, I can navigate and know what type of conversation to have with James.
Yeah.
I like him anyway, but
Yeah.
to have a conversation where how I would want to be spoken to as the owner of the business.
That's right.
And then speak to and know and get to know the staff like Lily and what's his name? Cameron, yes.
Ange.
No, what's his name?
Carl.
Yeah.
They're so hardworking, these people.
She's very close with Carl. You can tell. What's his name?
No, I'm bad with names.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him. He's so great. He's always smiling.
Yeah.
Loves to throw the dishes really loud when someone's
hit
on
me
stage.
again, by
in
the way.
giggle
But go
room
ahead. Yeah.
corner. Sorry.
Carl.
So Carl. But anyway, I feel like it's give them a little tip. Thank them. Tell them they did a good job.
Yeah.
Like don't ignore them as if they're not really here.
Absolutely.
All those things have helped me because then you're like welcomed.
Yes.
And when you're welcomed someplace, you project.
Right. Absolutely.
Being welcomed, you project a positivity,
and people want to be around that.
Confidence that's not a cocky ass confidence, like a confidence. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
And I'm appreciative of it.
And
it's fun.
It's interesting, to watch. I love watching someone talk about comedy when they really are at a point where they still love it. Sometimes we've had older comics on and maybe they don't love the game as much. So the fact that you love it is amazing for me. I've done this many different facets of my life where I'll sit back and I'll try to picture and you can't picture, for me, I can't picture what my life was like before my babies were born or before I was married or, it's hard for me thinking about, I'm such a different person now since my father passed. Do you ever think what your life was like before that fucking graduation show, before you're studying?
Like BC, I call it.
Yeah.
Before comedy. It's
talk about that.
It's
Tell
very
me.
different.
Yeah.
My life was very, very different.
Yeah. Isn't it? It's a
Completely.
crazy thing.
I even looked, I felt different. I feel like I've come into this different.
Right.
Become a different
It's almost
person.
like a born again comic. You know what I mean? That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You're born again.
It's like you find something that you truly are passionate about and feel like you have some potential in, and it's like, I want to run with this. And I tell people this all the time. I'm no Joan Rivers. I know for a fact I'm not getting a special.
Yeah.
Anything in between there for me
is a
just
fucking bonus gravy. That's right.
I feel really lucky to have made the friends I've made, to have Tony and the opportunity on Friday.
Absolutely.
And the people that we've brought in this
Knock 'em
room
dead.
that
Woo.
he's met, that I've met, that we've changed and we've learned, and I've been given opportunities from that for other things and vice versa.
Yeah. You vacuumed one day, the club, I remember, because of that opportunity. That was nice. I want to know, so if you had to picture, I can't even do this. Could you picture your life, what it was like before Cole was born? It's the same type of thing. Can you picture the person that you were from a confidence standpoint, from an emotion standpoint, can you do? I can't even put my brain there. I don't even remember or have any conception at all what it was like for me previous to that. Can you try?
For comedy?
The coal thing. I want
for
to
coal.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I can't.
Yeah.
It's like
it's impossible.
I mean, I remember
Isn't that
certain
crazy,
things.
Tom?
Like
Yeah.
but more. It's like I'll think back before coal, and I go right to like high school or college.
That's
It's not-
right.
Like it's like that lead up is that
It's-
adulthood
isn't
without
that
him is
fucking
very different.
lunacy? It's
And
totally
I'm an
crazy
old
to me.
mom, so I had a lot of time. You know, I
Yeah.
started late.
Yeah. Well, so you and I remember because of your age, that could be possible. But for me, I just can't even like this. To just your persona changes when you go through these life changes of marriage, house, baby, loss. Like we literally do change who we are. Like you don't change who your persona. Your life just changes. It goes along with it, and it's a fantastic thing for me. And it's the thing with my dad is a rough one for me because I don't think that and I'm not the same person. I don't have the same type of joy that I used to. I mean, I'm fine, you know what I mean? But like, there's just that comfort level that that you can stop and you can see your pop, right? Like, isn't that a crazy thing?
Yeah, I remember there were times like for a while when I would go to my parents' place.
Yeah.
And I would expect him to open the door.
Yeah.
That was when I felt it.
Right.
When the door would open and he wouldn't be there, because there's a part of you that's like, maybe I'll open the door.
Yeah. Isn't that a fucking wacky
And then
thing?
that goes away though.
It's just well, that's the whole thing. So like for me, I went through this crazy mourning period where I was really bad at the beginning, and then I was fine, and then when I started to not think those things were going to happen, like he wasn't going to answer the door or he wasn't going to answer the phone. When I got used to it, that's the thing that that got me.
Yeah, because you realize that,
when you become accustomed to the new normal, that's the shit right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough. That's really rough.
I think that's the only time that I did really mourn, except initially, maybe the first few days.
Right.
I was in shock and I was like crying. But
Yeah.
I was very quick to go back to work. I was
Yeah.
very quick to get back in the mix. I had a 15-month-old.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
And I think for me now, because my dad really did live a solid, amazing. I mean, my dad was like a Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
He did so many amazing things.
Yeah.
He saw so many things and accomplished so much. And he was proud of himself, and he made his family proud because he always had that, like, he was an orphan, he was an only child, he was very poor. He felt like he had a lot to prove. He was very tiny, had that Napoleon complex.
Yeah, my dad
too. And he did succeed.
Yeah.
And he did prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
And that was like a mission. It was exhausting. That was the lifelong of exhaustion for him to that was like his mission. I could see in everything he did.
Mm-hmm.
It was that.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and we all have our thing. That was his thing, to prove that he wasn't, the runt of the family that wasn't going to make it.
And look what his fucking empire is now, because that's really what it is. It's a fucking empire. A little shout out to Bridal Reflections, listen, I'm sure people have seen on Rosie's socials and Insta and whatnot, but certainly if you're in the market for a wedding gown, this is the place to be, and there's no question about it. It's funny how just talking about the mourning period, I'll never forget. So my father passed on a Saturday, and I guess it was like by the Monday I was on the beach by myself on the boardwalk, and I was just like, my head was just like spinning. I couldn't process it. And then I drove right to the tattoo parlor, and I got this big piece 3 days later. And I remember sitting there, and
I had no plan of it before.
Yeah, I mean, it was no. This was a total dedication piece. Yeah, and I was sitting there in that. So my father was gone for 5 days. And my tattoo artist, Chris Koutzis, little shout out to Three Kings Tattoo. And I had tears dripping down the side of my face. And I think it was a combination of the horrific pain that this area, by the way, is the most but also it was just like when you had, like, it was the first time in days that I had actually just sat still. So when you're sitting in a tattoo chair for 4 hours, you're not going anywhere. So that's when it really hit me. I'm like, wow, like, I'm getting a dedication piece. My father's gone. My pain level is fucking 900, and my father's dead. And I'm like, I was like, whoa. And then it was the same day where I remembered that I had a spot. I was booked here at Governor's, so it was 8 days after. And I was like, there's no fucking way I can get up on stage. There's no fucking way that I'm going to be able to do this. And for some reason, I didn't call Ange, who loved my father, by the way, knew my father well. I didn't call her, and then Sunday came, and I was like, I'm going to fucking go. And I went to the comedy club, and I got on stage, and to this day, it was definitely top 5 sets of my life. Like, I fucking blew it out of the water. I fucking annihilated. And you know I never talk like that.
No, you don't.
I don't like saying killed. I don't like it. But I had this like crazy fucking wacky energy in me. There's no question about it. Like, there was some sort of channeling. I don't know what it was, but I was fearless. And that's the whole thing about comedy too. I think sometimes what holds us back is fear, hesitation. Like you're worried about the crowd, you're worried about reaction, you're worried about a bit. And I think the fact that like there's nothing worse that can possibly happen to me.
What could happen to
like,
me up here?
I just threw dirt on my dad 6 days ago, like, or whatever it was. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna just throw caution to the wind, and I did, and it was incredible. So, special dedication shout out to Steve Hirschman and to Anthony Fiumara and Macari, excuse
Yes.
me, yeah. And it's cool, and I think that you and I come from the similar Brooklyn Dodger background, and I know your dad was a collector, and so my dad was.
Yes.
All right, as we look to wrap up here in a few minutes, just tell us like, and maybe you don't even have anything, but like as far as what you'd like to do. You're going to be doing comedy for many more years to come. Like, is there a room? Is there a thing? Is there anything at all that you'd like to accomplish? You were asked to co-host on Tony's podcast about a year and a half ago, is it approximately?
Yeah, about right.
And you guys have a show every Friday, Knock 'em Dead Comedy, that is fucking outrageous. It's great. You guys have a really good chemistry together. So you've accomplished that. You've accomplished hosting shows at the clubs. You definitely have made a little headway in this business. What kind of meat is on the bone still? Like, what do you still want to do?
What I want to do is I would like to get to the point where I have enough material, which I am really working on now, that I can feature. That's my first goal. And
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Totally reasonable, not asinine, like a reasonable thing.
Within
Yeah,
5,
yeah,
6
yeah,
months,
yeah.
I'd like to be given that opportunity to
Yeah.
do my entire
Yeah.
book
Yeah.
of material, which would give me that much time.
Right.
I would love that. I
Yeah.
would also love to. There's certain comics that I have not yet worked with that
Okay.
I'd love to, and I got to work with Monty the other night, which was something that I had done once before, where I completely, like you said, completely ate a bag of dicks.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
ate a bag of dicks
Yeah.
the first time I was with Monty.
Yeah.
So I felt that a little bit of a redemption the other night. That
Yeah.
he went out and watched me and was like,
Yeah.
"That was funny," and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah. That's so fucking crazy. I have a
and,
funny Monty story too. Keep
so
on going.
it's just about the
Yeah.
life with the eyes.
Oh no, that's a different story.
But what else would I like to
So-
accomplish? I'd like to work in a theater at least once.
Okay. That'll happen for sure. There's no question about it. That'll happen.
And I'd like to dabble in the city a little bit.
Okay.
But I would have to do that when it's after the fall.
Right.
Once my busy season
Right,
for
busy
work is
season,
over and I
coal
like to hang.
situated, yada,
Easy
yada.
camp. We go to the
Yeah.
beach, with the wagon and the
Yeah.
bikes and the.
Absolutely. So how did it feel? I mean, if you had a rough set in front of Monty that one time, and the other day you had a strong set, did you? Because he was there, he was watching every single minute
He
of
did
it.
go out and watch
Yeah,
which was
oh, yeah.
also very.
Yeah.
Peter Bales went out and watched
Yeah.
it. He
Yeah.
went out to watch me.
Yeah.
And that felt really good.
But the fact that you had a really good crowd reaction in front of Monty, that felt really
felt
good. I
really
bet.
good.
Yeah.
And then he was so funny when he went out. You
Yeah.
know why he's so funny?
Yeah.
Not just because he's funny.
Oh, the nose
But
probably.
You talked
is
about
like that.
relatable, besides
Yeah.
the costume.
Yeah, then the nose and the suit from 1948, like he's Fred Astaire tap dancing in the fucking rain. Yeah,
He's so relatable.
he's relatable.
Like the girls that were sitting behind me were here for a fundraiser.
Yeah.
3 of the women I knew. And they were doing this.
yeah. I mean, he's
Because
he's a
he was
fucking
talking
pro.
About his second child is like a
Yeah.
fucking maniac, right?
Yeah.
They both have maniac second children.
Right.
Relatable.
Right.
They were dying.
Are they also
So,
65 and a father like Monty though? No. Or no? Okay.
my baby
Yeah.
girl?
Yeah. Yeah. He's a great dad. He's a great dad. His kids are fantastic. The second one is a little bit wild. I've been around her. She's wonderful, but she can get a little bit kooky. But the funny thing is, so I think I told this on either my podcast or another one, that when I first started and I would, Ginny, Mark Lund's wife, would give me opportunity, and I'd come here, and it would literally be just a room full of fucking murderers. Like I said, Monty and Roach and Starr and Mick Thomas and Tim Gage, and I would be in that green room very timid, because I was like, I watched these guys. They're fucking murderers. What am I doing here? And one of the things that I was not accustomed to was the ass ripping that would go on in the green room. They would just murder each other. And Monty would particularly come pretty hard at me. And one time after a show, he came to me at the bar, and he's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, nothing. He's like, don't you understand that I'm doing this because you're part of the crew now? And then once we had that conversation, we've been close friends for 15 years since then. But one of the first shows that we did together, and I really wanted to do well, Walker had booked me, Haft, and Monty at his complex in Deer Park, like a housing complex where he lives.
He did one with Danny there. Not
yeah. Well, let me tell you, I had asked Walker, I'm like, listen, my
outside,
act,
right?
it's outside under a tent.
Yes.
And I'm like, my act, I just had a feeling there was going to be old people there, and my act is like more conducive, and there were a lot of old people. And let me tell you, I went up there. And I'm not afraid to say that I had a difficult set, and I really did. And so I did my set, and Monty's like, you did great, and Eric and whatever. And I remember it wasn't a big paying gig. I got paid $85. I remember, and for me, like anytime I ever get paid for comedy, it's just like it's weird.
It's
like
surreal.
Yeah, like what are you paying me for?
I started writing down what I'm making.
Yeah,
for this year.
exactly.
Keeping a log.
Yeah, just use a Post-it. It's gonna be
Yeah,
fine.
no, it's very small.
Yeah,
it's very small.
But so Monty had parked at the club at Governor's. We were out in Deer Park. And so, me and Monty are driving, and I get onto Wantagh Avenue, and we're bullshitting, and I'm making him laugh, and I'm feeling like I'm on top of the world, even though I had a rough set. And Monty's like, I think you just blew through that red light. And sure as shit, I blew through a red light, and I got a ticket, and it was $50 for $35 surcharge. It was $85 I got in the mail, and that was it. So
that's fantastic. That's a great story.
It was. Are you seeing anything on there that you want? Anything else from Tia Nilda?
No,
like that?
but thank you for watching, and I love
absolutely.
you. Te quiero mucho.
She said nice things about your dad.
Yeah.
Yes, no, she loved my dad, and he
love
loved
it.
her.
Uncle Tony was one wonderful, loving, generous, funny human being. I love that. That's
Grim
beautiful.
talks about his ex-wife throwing up in a cup.
Wait, what did James write?
My ex-wife threw up in a cup while riding in a limo.
Oh, okay.
I threw up in a gift bag while they were singing Happy Birthday.
We did hear a story recently. James wrote, that's a funny comment, but someone did throw up in a cup at the club recently. Andrew's telling us at the brokerage. So find out, James, if your ex-wife was at the brokerage in the past couple of weeks.
Oh, look, Brother Anthony here, Space Mutiny.
Oh, there he is. There's the Space Mutiny
the
guy.
The shiny red button.
As we wrap up, I think it's certainly important to talk about the show again. So the show is Thursday, May 21st, at the brokerage in Belmore, where all of us really started. It is called Percussion and Punchlines. It is going to be, without a doubt, one of the most unique and special shows that I think any one of us have been a part of. As you know, Mike Keegan, my partner, has become friends with this fellow named Michael Paris from his favorite band, OAR. Michael has been on our show a couple of times, and he's going to have his stomp and his guitar, and he's going to sing. And on top of that, we have Eric Haft, who's going to be playing drums. He's going to be playing with Richie Byrne, who's going to be singing. So we're going to have that facet. And then from a comedy standpoint, you have myself, you have Rosie, you have Keegan, you have Haft, and you have Richie Byrne. It's just going to be, I don't know. I feel the vibe I'm getting about this show. We've already blew past 100 tickets sold already, Tony. Nice. The room only fits 185, I think. My hunch is we're going to be either at sold out or pretty close to it, because we're going to have walk-up crowd. So listen, if you haven't bought tickets yet, a lot of you guys are probably off on Friday because it's Memorial Day weekend. I know I'm off. govs.com. You go to brokerage on Thursday, May 21st. Get the tickets at like $25 plus fees. But I think that this is going to be one of those shows where people will say, fuck, I remember that show you did with the guy from OAR and Eric was playing and Richie and blah, blah, blah. I just think it's going to be a special night. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I think it's going to be good. You get to see Rosie. Her family's going to be there.
Yes, I'm
I mean,
excited
like,
about that, really
you know,
am. And a lot of my family is my work family.
The Bridal
too.
Reflections
and those
people.
are the girls that I said, this is the one. And it's
Yeah.
right before the holiday. And you know what? They all kind of, they're making it a
they're all
night
gonna
out.
be there.
We're closing a little early.
I love it.
So they can leave and get ready or be there and not show up right before and get
Mama
a good
Marie will
seat.
be there. Tia Nilda's going to be there. Young Joe, Handsome Joe, and his boyfriend will be there.
Handsome Joe and Evan, they're going
Evan going to be
come.
there. Yeah, I mean, listen, I've said what I said. The ticket, it's going to be great. All right, 10 o'clock. Anything other than the show on Thursday that you want to promote? Anything coming up at all? Friday? Are you guys here on Friday?
Yeah.
We're here
okay.
Friday, so we could talk about it.
Oh,
And
shit.
if you're off, maybe you'll come on down.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be, you know what, I'll be on a bus to Binghamton
Oh,
to
that's
see my
right, you're
baby.
getting your daughter.
But I might call in, though, actually.
All right.
So that's going to
And
be
I have
Friday.
a show in the Giggle Room with comedy at its worst.
Com-
And that's June on a
Is that
Friday
Mikey
night.
Kurz? Who's
That's
that?
Mikey Kurz
Yeah.
and Tom Edwards.
Fantastic. Okay. Well, it makes me feel good to be able to say this for the first time in a couple of months. Knock 'em Dead Comedy, the traveling road show. What do you have coming up, bud? What do you have?
We have Steve Strangio joining us tomorrow in the studio. That'll
Great
be fun.
guest.
Yeah, looking
Great
forward
guest.
to that.
Steve Strangio's fantastic.
Thursday, we have a musical guest. His name is Jeff Pivar. Walking in Memphis, he played on that. He
Wow.
played with Ray Charles. He played with Crosby, Stills, Nash. He's played with everybody, so I'm really looking forward to that.
What was the connection there? Walking in Memphis, Marcone. Like what was the connection to you and this guy? How did it come about?
Me asking him if he'd like to come on the show.
But I'm saying you found
Really, that was it.
You found him on Instagram. You
yeah,
found him-
I went to his website because I'm
Yeah.
a fan
Yeah.
of his music, and I just wrote to him on his
So
website.
I love that.
He's
Oh,
a
yeah.
soloist aside from.
Yeah, but he's mostly. I mean, that his bread and butter is backing up other people.
Damn,
Yeah,
that's gonna be
so,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that a lot.
All
And then
right.
Friday, me and Rosie, Peter, and Grace
And
and
Fremder.
Fremder coming in
Wow.
on Friday.
The
So,
pun master Flux.
I would say that after Thursday's show, the first Knock 'em Dead Friday is going to be with Peter Anthony, not Rich Walker, the more funny one, Tony Walker, Rosie, Grace, Fremder. It's going to be a fucking lit show.
Yeah.
I'm sure John will call in, Rusiello will call in
Of
on
course.
Friday.
Yes.
And I'll be on a bus to Binghamton, fearing for my life like I always am, but I will probably call in also. So that's it. All right, you guys know the drill. We are appreciative of you watching. We want you to follow. We want you to click like, share it, and that's it. We hope to see you guys on Thursday. These guys will see you on Friday, and me and Mikey will be back together next Tuesday. We'll see you guys then. Good night.